Hi, welcome to the film panel. Thanks for coming. I'm actually honored to have amazing people with me today. I'm sure some of them you know, some not. So I'm gonna introduce an introduction, starting from Athina. Athina is the president of the Director Guild of Cyprus, a member of WIFT, is that how you call it, WIFT? WIFT Greece, and serves on the International Emmy jury. She studied in Switzerland, earned a BA in film from University of California, Santa Barbara, an MA in politics and media, and trained as a producer at AFI Los Angeles. Her credits include award-winning shorts, Dead End, The Made Guy, Tripwire, and the documentary Unwitnessed Memories. She has directed Greek TV series including Survivor and The Farm, and theatre production like Nachtland. Founder of the film and stage studio. She teaches at the University of Central Lancashire. In 2023, she co-founded Ray Talent Agency and Ray Films, with projects including the Invincible and La Scarina. She's also developing series with international partners. So, Athina Xenidou.
Thank you, Pavlo. Thank you. Thank you for the lovely introduction. Thank you for being here with us, because the moderator is always the star actually of the show, because we're all hanging from you.
Well, I hope we'll make we'll have a nice discussion, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys and your experiences. So yeah, Simon Kassianidis, an actor, writer, creator, born in the UK. Simon is a versatile classical trained actor with an impressive career in television and film across the UK and the US. He gained fame starring alongside Daniel Craig in Quantum of Solace and has appeared in major series such as The Mandalorian, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Suits. Simon has also expanded into writing and producing, recently selling scripts to Warner Bros. That's impressive.
Thank you.
And adapting Camilla Lackberg's best-selling novel into television series. He just completed a feature film here in Cyprus by Marios Piperidis. So welcome, Simon.
Thank you very much. Lovely to be here. It always sounds so great when someone else says all that. It's always a bit awkward when you say those things, but yeah.
Great.
Is that a mic drop?
Yes, mic drop. Yeah. I should have timed that better, but yeah.
Well, it's actually impressive, so you should be proud.
Thank you so much. I'm very proud of it. I'm here today, as a very proud Cypriot. My grandfather didn't have shoes, grew up in a village here, and for me to be partnered with Warner Brothers, can you imagine? I mean, it's a dream, and I'm very excited with everything that I'm doing. I'm still a kid with what I do. I think my enthusiasm for it is the thing I'm most proud about, really. Just, I'm still a kid.
You've recently relocated to Cyprus, is that true?
I live in Limassol now,
right.
With my wife and my newborn baby girl. So we're just enjoying being here. So yes, that's
fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, so Stellana Clearis, welcome. Film writer, producer, director, a dedicated film professional. Stellana is known for her writing, directing, and producing work. She founded Meraki Films and directed Cyprus' first post-crisis independent feature, Committed, which gained international distribution and a Hollywood remake option. She produced the award-winning Pause and wrote, directed, and produced the Netflix hit Find Me Falling. Her latest project is the feature Apart From Her, with several new projects in development. Stellana, welcome.
Thank you.
Pleasure to have you. And Yana Pantelis, actress, writer, director. Yana is a deaf Australian actress, writer, and director based in Los Angeles now. She began acting at 12, and she has appeared in theatre, film, and commercials, earned multiple Best Actress awards. Currently studying at the Stella Adler Academy and the Groundlings, she's also writing, starring, and directing her project Wild Rumpus. Her passion is uncovering authentic truth in her roles. Welcome, Yana.
Oh.
Amazing to have you. So, we'll try and go through some really interesting questions, and obviously feel free to join in. We'll have some questions at the end if you guys want to ask something or clarify anything. So, if you can allow me to start with Simon. Simon, obviously you're leading an exceptional career, we've all heard, an international career. However, I mean, we don't know much about you in Cyprus, though. So it's good that you relocated, and I hope you actually do a second career here in Cyprus. What was the route you've taken to achieve these heights? And I guess the thing that interests everyone here is how do you make it into global stage, especially when you started in the UK, a difficult industry to penetrate, and I can imagine how you actually started your career. But tell us a bit about that, please.
Yeah, I think it all starts with a very open, honest passion for what this business is, which is ultimately storytelling. And I sincerely believe that the more you read, the more you absorb art in all its forms, other than your phones, then the more stimulating you'll be when you meet other artists that you can share appreciation for across the whole spectrum of what we do. I think that what we do is a form of art, and it's become compartmentalized into content and into sort of these little boxes of business, I guess things that you go for, and that's never going to serve you well when you meet with a director or a writer, or I think the more interested you are in what we do as artists, and the more you invest in that, I think that when you have those moments like I have in my career along the way, where they've been jump-off moments, they've always been moments where I've been able to kind of share with someone else that's at that height, and it propels you into new spaces and makes you more interesting, rather than I guess a strategy, as it were. I think individualism in what we do is so profound. I don't think that there's anyone that can be you, and I truly believe that. And I think that that's the wonderful thing about what we do. I could sit up here and give everyone an idea of how to make it, and there'll be an exact opposite to everything I say story where someone else has made it in terms of what you do. There's no path. Be you, be interested in arts, be passionate about it, go out there, read, watch, learn. And when you meet people that are doing things, you're going to be really fascinating. So, yeah.
One of the things, has your super British heritage influenced your career at the beginning, you think, or it had nothing to do with it?
No, I played every terrorist in England that they would have. I think that, ethnically diverse as a Cypriot in England's about as, interesting as a bag of chips. They don't give a shit. In England, they're like, oh, where are you from? And you're like, well, from Clapham South. And they're like, yeah, but where are you really from, And as a result of not representing the larger ethnic minorities in the UK, they stick you in a box, So I went to the US and played a British prince for Hallmark TV.
Yeah.
And I was like, have you seen Prince Harry? Right. What the fuck are you talking about? Sorry, kids. But talent tends to lead more of the way in the US. So, I think being Cypriot, I think I was at the Almeida, which is a tremendous theatre in London, and I was on stage playing a Turkish rug-selling terrorist. And I thought, I think I've just done James Bond as a terrorist. I mean, is that the ceiling here? Like, what am I doing, So I got the hell out of there. So being Cypriot in England, I found quite limiting, right, in terms of the view and the box that the English put me in. That's what I found, yeah.
So you're describing a more difficult situation for you then?
Yeah, for me and everyone else. Like, I've got Italian friends in London that are playing Italian waiters, or, a Greek, chef on stage. Like, they sound like me. Why can't he be an English guy? Why can't they do that? But that's the way it is, in my experience.
Cool. Stellana, Obviously, you're very well established and very well known in Cyprus. And how long have you been in Cyprus for now?
I moved here in 2010, so for 15 years now.
Right.
Yeah.
Quite a long time. But you've become more widely known because of your successful activity on the island. So everyone knows you here, and you're like a big star. I guess the question is, have there been any opportunities to grasp, or did you create your own chances here?
I guess a combination, but I'm very much a believer in you make your own opportunities. No one's going to care about your project as much as you are, so you have to always be the driving force. Just for some examples, the first film that I made, which was micro budget, committed in like 2013. That was when we had the economic crisis in Cyprus, and there wasn't state funding at the time, or it had been like cut. And I had just been like passed over for like a directing gig because I hadn't done a feature before, and I was like, okay, I need to do a feature, and tried to find another way to do it. And at the time, crowdfunding was still a new thing, and I launched an Indiegogo campaign and raised some money from there, and found my angel investor, who actually I think is at the forum this year. It's Adonis Peroulis, I think he was talking yesterday,
of course,
who's become a great friend and mentor and has affected my life profoundly. It's also how I met Simon. I think he wasn't available. I think he was doing the Hallmark movie at the time. But that's how we met, and how amazing that we are still friends today. So that's a tangent, but it was, that's what I said, and we're still friends today. So, and we are very grateful for that. So again, there's an opportunity in everything, and there's a great Cypriot saying, "Kathe embodio ya kalo," that everything happens for a reason, or a good in every obstacle. And I'm a very firm believer in that, and I sort of trust that whenever something gets in my way, I know that I'm going to find a creative solution to it and do what I need to do. And then the same thing again with Find Me Falling. We were supposed to shoot that in 2020, and then the pandemic happened, and we cast Harry Connick Jr. in 2021. And I have to say, I think the pandemic played a role in that, because we wanted an actor who can sing or a singer who can act, and he was perfect for it. And he might not have been as available if he was out touring or doing his concerts, which is his main line of work. So really, 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 and you just have to, so that's been my experience for sure. Have had to, take advantage of any opportunities that come up, but also always find a way, think out the box to make things happen.
So you work hard. Have you had any help from somewhere?
So hard. Always. I work very, very hard. I don't know if there's, it's like I say, I don't think I'm the most talented or anything, but I know I'm definitely one of the hardest working. I'm a psycho workaholic, but I love what I do, so it doesn't feel like work. But definitely I've had help. As I mentioned, there have been many great guardian angels and mentors and people, like I mentioned, Peroulis earlier, my producers from the last film, my producer on this film. We have the Ministry of Culture here in Cyprus that I always like to do a shout out to, because they've been supporting local films for decades now. The incentives that have come out now, like the last couple of movies I did, wouldn't have happened without those. Everybody, the crew, movies are not done on their own. It's not an individual task. So a lot of help coming in, but you definitely have to be the person, pushing the boulder up the mountain. If you want to get your projects done.
Great, thank you. Jana, you're rather fresh in the industry. However, you managed to find your place on the big stage, and with great success, I might say. How challenging was it at the start of your career, and what were the obstacles you faced, if any?
Well, I think it's mostly the longevity of this career, and the lifestyle is probably the most challenging, because you find yourself that acting is what you want to do, and then you feel like you have to. It's the survival part that's really hard, and then you start to tell yourself, oh, maybe I should get a job and try and keep doing acting but have a job on the side. And I think that's the hardest part, is that you don't want that job because you feel like it's going to suck all your time and your creativity, and it's that part that I find really, really challenging. And sometimes you're really lucky and you have, parents who want to pay your car insurance. But yeah, it's those obstacles, the survival part of it.
Great. Athena, you're dealing with young talents as well as others, both in Cyprus and Greece. I think globally, yes. I mean, you represent people across the globe.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously you're trying to help them start their career. Jana just described, her experience. And how reflective of the truth is that a person needs to work really hard or avoid the easy choice at some point? What do you say to these people? How do you actually advise them?
That's a good question, actually, Pablo, because we have one common denominator here, and I know each and every one of you, we're workaholics, beyond the filmmaker title. So we say jokingly, but it sometimes takes a toll on our relationships with our children, with our partners, with ourselves sometimes, and you have to make a lot of sacrifices. So I think I say that at the university, and whenever I teach, I always have my little speech about how everything is possible, but it's a lot of hard work. So I say that to actors, I say that to young filmmakers, that nothing is assumed, as talented as they might be. So if you ask me about actors, what I see when I sign an actor in the agency, whether they're Greek, Cypriot, or foreign, what I look for is three things. One is talent, the other one is character, and the other one is hard worker. Because if one of the three things is missing, they're not going anywhere. It's not going to end well. It's not going to be down the line a wonderful career. Right?
Yeah, sure.
There's three pillars, and it applies to filmmakers, it applies to actors. In terms of young actors, I would urge young actors to learn as many techniques as they can, not to be, I went to one school, I know Meisner, and I'm okay now. Go to Stella Adler, get another tool. Go to Lee Strasberg and get the method. Why not learn method as well? Because you might need it for one role, which is going to turn your career around.
Or you might meet some really cool people there too.
Exactly.
Your community.
Accents, voice coaching, movement. It's a much harder thing for actors than it is for us filmmakers. I can have an accent, a bad accent in English, it doesn't matter. I can look like shit in the morning, it doesn't matter. I still go to work. But actors have a tougher job in that they need to maintain their bodies like athletes.
Fuck. Sorry. I just thought,
Wake-up call, reality check on my friend here. When was the last time you went to the gym?
I was just thinking, God, yeah, shouldn't have eaten that pie.
See, I haven't gone to the gym forever, and I'm still around. But yeah, it's so much harder for actors in that sense, and they have to not let themselves go. So young actors, it's gather the tools, but also if you can't get an agent, because having a team behind you, not only for the negotiations of the contracts, which is one thing, it's, okay, I'll give one example. We have a Cypriot actor who just shot overnight into success, Prokopis Agathokleos, and we represent him. Now, overnight, he became a household name with a series that's going to Netflix. It's called Saint Paisios, and he's playing Saint Paisios. And now, his videos from one night to the next is watched by 6 million people. He's like, what the hell? You know, if he didn't have the team behind him to deal with all the offers coming in for theater, all the offers coming in for film in Greece, not Cyprus, in Greece. The Cyprus, we're not even talking about it right now with how his fee shot up by 20, you know? And then they want him for influencing. They want him to be a personality for social media. They want interviews, press conferences. It's crazy. So not having a team when this happens, he's like talking to me every day I'm his work wife, and we joke about it, but it's a daily thing with him. Like, I have to be talking to him every day. So get a team, get if you're a young actor and you want to go far, get it as early as possible so that when this thing happens, you're also ready and you have a team of people supporting you. You need support.
Jana, is that true to you as well? Now you're actually training at Los Angeles. Is that true? I mean, do you work hard and do you find it difficult, or do you see all these threats coming towards you?
Yeah, I totally agree about exposing yourself to as much techniques as you can. Like you said, it can be useful for any sort of role that you have, and there is this misconception that you have to have one technique, but I am a firm believer that it's, any technique can be useful. Yeah.
Great. Simon, I mean, unavoidably, we need to ask the question, how do you go from local to global? I mean, given the competition and, it's fierce, and how can a young actor or actress or a creator, in that sense, stand out nowadays? What do you think?
I think that you just got to have, I think you've got to have the courage to give it all up. I think if you get any traction anywhere and you think that that's going to sustain you for your whole career in one place, I think that that's a trap. I think you've got to have the courage to go and make more of a network geographically. You've got to go meet people. I mean, I saw Stellana running around the Los Angeles Greek Film Festival making contacts that served you well. You know, you've got to get out there, man. I mean, just because you've got a phone and you've got access to social media doesn't cut it. Right? It just doesn't. You know, you've got to be willing to get up, move, meet people, look them in the eye, see how they're doing, see what they're about, watch them. Watch how they act when you're not the center of their attention. Check out the opportunities, check out the community, you know, speak to people that maybe on, you know, just because they're rising, speak to people that are, you know, been there for a long time, and there's opportunity everywhere in our business nowadays. You know, it's incredible what's going on. You can, you know, LA used to be the center of it all. You know, there used to be a time when you had to go to where the casting directors existed physically and get in a room. Now it's all on you know, videotapes. So, you know, what does that mean? It's decentralized. You know, London's not what it was, LA's not what it was, New York's not what it was. It's global, right? So go and find out where your tribe are. And we're everywhere, man. Like, you know, people say, oh, you're in Limassol. I'm like, yeah, it's fucking great. You know, like, I've met people, I'm working, you know, my network's expanded. There are incredible people here. Like, you know, I'd say if you want to go from local to global, buy a plane ticket, man. You know, like.
Yeah, I guess skill makes a difference, doesn't it? I mean, as you said before, we think we've got everything on our phone or social media, but at the end of the day, it's you know, one-on-one, personal. You need to show. Yeah,
you never know who you're going to meet. You know, like I was talking to Jana earlier on, just, you know, here, scaring the hell out of her, I think. But I was saying that, you know, you just, as long as you've got your eyes up and you have this enthusiasm, and you just think this is the coolest job in the world, what we do. And you don't, you know, think that you're better than anyone else, and you're just like, this is just so great. You know, it's infectious. You know, most of the people that want to do what we do, or that, you know, or are doing it, that have been around a long time, really care about it and love it. And I don't feel like I've done one day's work in my life. I just don't. I think I've got the best job in the world. I play. Someone goes, oh, there's a dragon and you've got a sword and you fly and you're in Star Wars. I'm like, oh, brilliant. You know, I'm like 5 years old again. What are we talking about? And if you have that in you, people see it and they recognize it, and they want to be around that energy. It's pure, it's true.
Sure.
You know, and I think that, you know, just focus on that, man. Just, keep it real, homie.
Jana, you went from Australia to US. How was that? Was that a leap? Did you push yourself to do that? How did it happen?
Well, I went there when I was 16 to Stella Adler Academy, and there was just this weird, I guess, feeling that I had to go back, and it was this feeling of home and opportunity, maybe because something about Hollywood, I mean, there's something addictive about it, but it feels like you're in reach of something bigger. And I felt like I met a lot of creatives in one area, and I didn't really have that experience at home. It felt like it was really branched out, everyone who was in the creative field. And yeah, I wanted to make that transition and give LA a go and see the opportunity and just experience it, I guess. Yeah.
Are you having fun?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm getting in now. Yeah.
Athena, Cyprus is hopefully becoming a strong, mature enough market. Do you think that's true? Do you think that Cyprus market can sustain young talents and creators?
Okay. I'm more hopeful than I was like 10 years ago or even 5 years ago with our latest development, and just feeling like my tribe is achieving stuff and it's going places that is not just local and it's going global. So there is definitely hope, but there are challenges like not having enough crews yet to hold too many productions. There are challenges of equipment. There's even transport of equipment becomes a big issue on an island. So there is logistics that you know very well, Pavlos, as well, with your daily routine that we face as producers or as directors. But it's happening because there's a bunch of us now making it happen and just running the mill.
Sorry.
I feel like I didn't answer one of the things that you asked.
No, that was. I mean, obviously, it all points towards the, how can someone wanting to start a career in the filmmaking industry here in Cyprus, do we give them what they need? Is that the right path? Obviously, I'm coming to you, Stellana, later on, because you've been in both worlds, before and after the incentives. Yeah. So I would love to, hear from you. How was that? I mean, does it work? Because obviously, what we've done is that we've created the incentives. Obviously it's well written, it's there on paper, but do we have the infrastructure, do you think, or did we start the wrong way round? Did we start from the end? I don't know. It feels a bit.
Okay, good question. No, we had to start, otherwise we would have never gone anywhere, and definitely the last two films I did would have never happened without the incentives. They would have gone to Malta, they would have gone somewhere else. So we had to join the world's filmmaking stage with the financial incentives. And for anybody who doesn't know, we now offer one of the most generous cash rebates in the world. We have 45% cash rebate below the line and 25% above the line, which some countries don't even offer above the line rebates. So, and so far it's working well. I think though, as Athena said, we definitely have now a few years of growing pains ahead of us, because it is a developing industry. It's a small industry. We don't have a big enough crew base. We need to bulk up our equipment. We need more sort of producers to be trained up, because really there's been a boom in the last couple of years with foreign productions coming in. And I mean, last year, I shot my next feature in November, December, and there were at least another 4 other productions happening in Cyprus, which was unheard of. We used to have 3 a year, 3 features a year, and that was it. So now they were all in the same month, and we were all scrambling around to get like crew and equipment. So it's good on the one hand, but then you also don't want your foreign producer to have a bad experience and not return to the island, because it's not just the incentive. We need to be able to pull off these productions in a quality way. So, but I think that's the next thing. It's now longevity, as long as the incentives are managed well. And so far, like, my experience has been good. But as long as they maintain that with the growing demand, and our industry has to catch up, and I think it's going to be a couple of rocky years, and as long as we pull through on that, and there's some things, I've spoken to, Lefteri at the incentives, South Africa, for example, has a requirement that in order to get the incentive, you also need to have trainees in certain departments. So automatically, you are growing your crew base while, administrating the incentive. So there's things like that we need to do now as we take our next steps, so that.
What about education?
I'll tell you. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say about university, that we have.
I know there are courses in our universities, but I think personally, because of where we are as well, that's definitely an important factor. But I'm all for hands-on experience and bringing in like trainees. And we had a couple on our last, set. It was both woman camera trainee and a girl who had sort of studied fashion design. I'm like, you want to work in costumes in films? We'd run out and there was nobody. And she came in and she learned from the best. We had an amazing Emmy-nominated costume designer, and she was there weathering clothes and stuff, and she loved it. But it was a great experience, and she's got a credit, and she can keep working now, from a 2-month stint. So, yeah.
One of the things that I want to say today is that we do have a bachelor's for the young people studying. We do have a bachelor's of production, media production at UCLan, and it's piloting right now, and next year they're going to graduate the first bachelor holders of media production. And we do short films. Last year I was teaching, producing and directing and writing a short film, which we never had before on the island because it was all TV studio related. So now we're bringing like courses that actually they wrote their own short film, and the team produced it, shot it, edited it, and did the casting and all the steps, the necessary steps. So now they're sending it out to festivals for short film, student film festivals, right? So I'm very proud of that, because the educational part, to have a bachelor's degree, because a lot of the parents go, oh, but you need to have a bachelor's. If you say I'm going to Stella Adler, if you say I'm going to, 2-year school for an associate degree in filmmaking, or I don't want to study, all the parents are going, you're not going to have a bachelor's? So for a generation that needs a bachelor, there is a bachelor finally on the island. But
sometimes it's hands-on, isn't it? What Stellana described before.
Exactly. So what we do at the university is all of the students from year 1, I put them on production. So like last year, I had Ray co-produced a film with the Czech Republic. And we had tanks and the military and explosions and stunts. Now, what happened in terms of when we talk about logistics, like I had a crew of 120 people, and I think 40 were from Cyprus. So this is what it means to actually put on a production of millions on a set. It means that we can probably get ideally half of the crew that you need. Ideally, at best, right? But we had 1/3 of the crew from Cyprus, and then the rest, it was like another 1/3 from Greece, and then another 1/3 from the UK, the US, and wherever we needed to bring stunt coordinators, explosions, VFX, all of that, right?
Expertise, obviously, we're missing expertise.
Yeah, certain positions we don't have.
Yeah. What about funding? And obviously you've described that obviously the film incentives worked for you in your last couple of films. But what about, if you want to aim higher, what would you do?
So, I mean, yeah, for us, the sources are, as I mentioned, the Deputy Ministry of Culture, which provides, they can provide up to 50 or 60%, 70 if it's considered a difficult film. We have the incentive if your budget is big enough to accommodate for that, because there's a cap on state aid, on how much state aid one film can get. And then pre-sales is always a section, meaning like distributors that will put down a minimum guarantee, a certain amount of money for your film, but that's you need like maybe an A-list star attached to your film to get that. And then it's private equity basically. So, going to whether it's foundations or institutions or high net individuals who will put in the money for, to make up your financing. And for me on the last film, that was very, like I had raised the Cyprus part, from the ministry and the incentives. That was like a third of the budget, but then the rest came from my US producers who they have their pool of investors and they put in the rest of that money. And it worked out well for everybody.
Great.
Which is now jeopardized by Trump's
He's gone back on that. No, he
short-term.
realized how ridiculous that statement was. So, yeah.
What about you, Simon? I mean, you're actually producing your own project now. Is that true?
Yes, yes.
Great. How does it work for you? I mean, funding-wise and did you?
I mean, I sold the script to a company in the UK called Raw, and that was reported in the Hollywood Reporter. So then I got a phone call from Warner Brothers, and they said, look, do you want to come and have a chat? And I went in, and they wanted me for a TV show, and we got talking about other ideas, and they said, we know you've just sold a feature film. Have you got any other ideas? So we talked about it, which led to, 2 or 3 years selling shows and films to Netflix through Warner Brothers, and now I've got a first look deal with Warner Brothers International for any projects that I do. And so there's like 3 or 4 projects that I've been at various stages of development on. And I'm going to Cannes with one next week with my producers flying in from the US and and we're going to sell our asses next week in Cannes. But yeah, no, it's really great. I mean, it's an amazing time. At the end of the day, it's like, you're hustling. You've got incredible names behind you, but it doesn't really matter. You still got to sell. You still got to, it doesn't matter that it sounds very impressive. I've got Warner Brothers in my corner, and it is. It's no small thing. But again, it's something that I've got to fight tooth and nail to make happen. Just because I've got that there, you can't sit back on your laurels and think that they're going to make it happen for you. You've got to fight for it. And
you've got a brand name, though. I mean,
yeah, no, it's incredible. I mean, I've worked really hard for it. I'm not going to say that it's an accident. I've worked my whole career to get to this point. So I'm very serious when it comes to work, and it's no small thing. But in those meetings, in those rooms, you've got to fight alongside another few hundred people in your position within the same banner to get your project made ahead of theirs. So it's like the Hunger Games.
Well, you described it very well. I mean, I was going to ask you about the competition, obviously, but you've nailed it. So,
no, it is the Hunger Games. In Cannes, there's a room, and they put you all in there with various scripts, and you've got to beat each other to death. It is a question of dogged belief in your idea. You've got to believe that your idea is king, and that it's the best idea. I mean, ultimately, you've written down something on a piece of paper, and you're going to people with lots of money, and you're saying, imagine. And unless you really believe in it, no one's going to, and there's a dog, but it's a dragon, and it's not my film. But, it's like, you're really, imagine James Cameron pitching Avatar, right? You know he believes in that film, but imagine trying to describe Avatar for the first time.
Yeah.
He sold that.
It sounds ridiculous, to be honest, but
it's a flying
your point.
dog, but and it's fantastic.
Yeah.
But you've got to believe in it. You've really got to believe in it.
That's another skill. I mean, to have a great idea, but to present it, it's a different kind of.
That's part of it. It's part of it. I mean, again, I think if you believe in it and you're true and you're passionate about it and you're educated about it and you're not, pretending to be something that you're not and it's true, then people pay attention. Yep. And then whether or not they want to give you the money to make it is a lifelong
thing, you know.
And the industry is changing into the how we approach projects, how studios or platforms approach. So the pitching became an art form now, and there's development producers and pitching coaches and all of that. There's a para side industry,
it's another industry, yeah.
that we see a lot when we go to the festivals. A lot of people present themselves and say, "Oh, I'm a pitching coach," and they get paid for that. I know one who's fantastic. I'm actually recommending her to people who don't know how to pitch, because most writers don't know how to pitch.
Yeah, that's true.
And most directors and producers, sometimes they have stage fright, so they have to learn how to talk in 5 minutes. How do you present it in 5 minutes and not 15? 15, everybody's going, okay, gotta go. You lost them. You need 5 minutes to pitch your film and say, this is a great idea because A, B, and C, and here it is. Here's the resources. Here's what we're thinking, and
Sorry.
yeah, please.
I think you should just speak to your friends or find friends. I think, the old days of pitching a film was basically telling your friends in a room, this is my idea for a film. It's about a boy and a girl. They go, well, for anyone. But you know what? They don't have friends they can talk to. Well, that's another problem that they're not going to find in a paid. I think that it's a hard enough business to get into anyway. I think that these subcategories where they swallow up young hopefuls' money to learn how to talk, I think, I don't buy that. I'm sorry.
I was another question actually. How are young upstarts actually exploited nowadays? I mean,
yeah, it's a huge thing. I mean, it's the business that we're in. There's so many passionate people, and it's a very difficult business. If you meet someone that tells you that there's a way to do it, don't trust them. There's a million ways to do it.
I think you've all described hard work here.
Yeah,
so
but there's your way. Educate yourself in as many ways as possible. But if you want to do it, you will. I came from South London. No one I knew had an avenue into what I did. Everyone told me I'd never have a career. Everyone said the way I looked, I'd never work. Everyone told me that. Everyone. And I just refused to believe them, and I fought all the way. So, if you've got the hunger and the passion, go for it. If you make a mistake, learn from it. Don't buy and pay, and just go for it, man.
But it's also educate yourself and make sure you've got the right information. Make sure you have a mentor or somebody who's more experienced than you to talk to, because
run it through your friends.
I mean,
yeah, totally.
No, beyond friends. I've had like a few fellow filmmakers come to me with some ridiculous in the last few months. Where they've had charlatan co-producers, wanting to take pull out of the production and how much do I have to pay them? You don't pay them anything, or sales agents asking for money up front. You don't. That's not a sales agent. Don't pay. So talk to people or educate yourself and
Sure.
get the right information, because there are a lot of people trying to take advantage, and it's just because you don't know any better. So it's information is everything, education.
Yeah, and in my experience, the people that really care about what they're doing, they'll give you that information for free, man. They'll have a coffee with you.
No, that's what I mean, like a mentor
Yeah.
or an experienced professional that ask them.
Even us, when I got to Cyprus, I said to Stellana, I said, can we have a coffee? And we went out and I said, I don't know anything. Help me understand what's going on here. And out of the kindness of her heart, she led me through it, right? Yeah, you were. You had a lot going on. There was both of us, yeah.
It's reciprocal.
But that's the business. That's the wonderful thing about it. A lot of people in this know how hard it is, and they want to share information. They want to help.
What about you, Jana? Well, obviously pitching ideas, and I know you're going through your film now. You're writing and directing. Did you tell your friends about it?
Am I what, sorry?
Did you tell your friends about it?
I tell a close knit of friends. I mean, I feel like I tell my partner all my stories. I mean, there's those 3 a.m. wake-ups and you're like, oh, I've got this going on. But I think the main thing is with the writing aspect of things is writing stories that you want to see rather than, I think Quentin Tarantino says that, rather than feeling persuaded by society of what do audiences want to see, because I think we get stuck with trying to impress everyone else, and it's, I guess, the core of it is what moves you and what message do you want to tell. And I think that's the main thing that I try to do, is tell stories that no one's seen before. And I feel like a lot of stories get repeated, and I think it's really challenging to find something that's, what haven't we seen that needs to be represented on screen? Yeah.
So you think it's more experiential? Do you write genre? I mean, obviously you're following this kind of path, which you need to share your experience, and your idea comes from your experiences?
Mostly. I think doing a lot of the Stella Adler technique, using the imagination, which is such a gift, because you start to train, I guess, your brain to imagine certain scenarios, and then reading plays from the best playwrights, in the world. I think learning from their writing and what they create with their storytelling, especially like The Pillow Man or Tennessee Williams, Streetcar Named Desire. Like just
Martin
going
McDonough,
back
right?
to
Yeah.
The original things is and inspiring yourself from those stories, and just carrying that on with your work.
Okay, great. I don't know if we have much time. I'd love to ask you guys about your personal plans, your future plans here in Cyprus or abroad, especially for you guys. I mean, obviously Simon is relocated, but Jana, are you planning to do something here in Cyprus? Would you be willing to tap into the incentives?
I'm open. I'm at that point where any opportunities I'm grateful for. But I would love to. I mean, I've got a film idea that I want to film here, but it's just a matter of, just like everyone else, just trying. Yeah.
Well, you're sitting next to producers, so pitch it right now. Stelana, what about your plans?
So I shot my now third feature film called Apart From Her last year. We just locked the edit today. So, yay! And now there's still some months ahead of music, and that's why I was almost late today. Sorry about that. But it's very relevant to the Diaspora Forum. It's based on my parents' stories. It's set between Cyprus and South Africa in the 1970s, and we shot it all in Cyprus. We turned Nicosia into 1970s South Africa, so that was pretty, but it works. I sent it to some South African friends. They're like, believable. So, and now we don't have distribution yet. Obviously, we're going the same route. We need to start seeing where we can sell it and so on, but it's my passion project, so I'm very excited about that one. I'm producing for Jana Americano. She's a very talented local film director. It's her second feature, which is called My Name is Lily, and we're in development and financing on that now, and hoping to shoot next year. And I'm attached to direct a very good romantic comedy in the US in the summer. It's not confirmed yet. It's with my producers from the last film, but it's got some amazing cast attached, and it would be an absolute dream come true. But film is like, I'll believe it when I'm on set on the first day. So that would be a really amazing next step. But either way, things are going nicely. Thank you.
Simon, what about you?
I have just finished Marios Biberidis, one of our own here. I was on that film, finished a couple of weeks ago, which was really good. Lovely people. I think we all know them here, right? I mean, they're lovely people.
Oh, there's just 10 people anyway.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Oh, hi, Marios, you're here now. But no, he's him and Janine make lovely projects. And it's a really good film, so I'm proud of that. So I don't know what they're probably going to enter that into a festival in the next year or so. And like I said, I'm still in the middle of all these other things that I'm doing, which is a lot of fun. And enjoying being in Cyprus, really.
Great. Athena.
So we're in development and financing of a couple of series for Greece, the US, the UK and Italy. And some of them are more into financing, and some of them are still in development, and some in Cyprus. So depending, basically, as Ray, we have a slate of projects, about 10 right now, and they're all like moving forward. Hopefully, because Cyprus right now has a good Ministry of Culture cinema office, as small as it is, and I have to always say thank you to the couple of people that have stood by the filmmakers all these years, starting with Elena Christodoulidou, who has been, like, she held my hand at Thessaloniki Film Festival in 2001 when I had my first feature. 2001. So I will never forget that feeling of having somebody from Cyprus, like, just being there for me. And I wanted to do that for other people, to be honest, because that's why I'm in festivals right now, because I want to be able to be with the Ministry of Culture in that effort, long-term effort. And now there's only 4 of them in the cinema office. There's only 4 people.
That's an increase from like
it's
last year.
Exactly. You're right. It used
They're
to be
amazing. They're amazing.
It used to be 2,
Yep.
and now they're 4. So we're like, whoa. But and together with the incentives, with the Lefteris is doing a wonderful job, globally, going around and explaining to people that yes, they can shoot here, and we've seen it. And he supported me with the Czech co-production that we've done last year, coming out in November. We have our premiere in Prague. And so I saw that happening. And I want to say thank you to these few people that, Invest Cyprus, the film commissioner is only 1 person. It's only Lefteris. It's not even 4. So thank you to this handful of people. But yeah, it's Cyprus and Greece is on the map.
Good. I just wanted to ask if you guys have any questions before. Yeah?
I'm from New York City. My daughter's 16 years old. She's a performing arts student studying drama at Francis Sinatra School of the Arts. And we're looking at colleges, Columbia University, NYU, Pace University. They have great drama programs. Because of her dyslexia, her GPA is 3.3. And these universities want 3.6 and over. So she said, Mommy, if I don't get accepted, I could just do Stella Adler for 2 years. She's already done a summer at Strasbourg. She studied a semester at Juilliard for high school teens, which was a great program. She performed at Carnegie Hall. She's a singer as well, so she's dual talent. What do you advise for me to get into this $150,000 college tuition debt where, she could get the same out of Stella Adler for 2 years, garnish that talent? She's focused every single day when it comes to drama. When it comes to math and science and all these other academic classes, she can't do it. That's what's keeping her behind. She just finished Shakespeare, Tatu. That's all she wants is drama. So I'm confused. What do I do?
I don't think she needs a bachelor's.
Okay. Yeah.
Truly.
I said that earlier. I was like, not everything should be a bachelor's degree or master's degree, right?
Stella Adler is a wonderful school, 2-year school in New York and LA. Amazing. Tom Oppenheim is doing a wonderful job there. Andriani has gone, for example, she's a young actress right next to you. She's 28. She was at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in LA, 2-year program. And, showcasing at the end of the 2 years with agents coming and all of that happening in LA. So if you're in New York and LA, you have very good access to the network of agents and producers and whatnot. So I don't think she should, suffer from academic issues that come up with dyslexia. Andriani has dyslexia, and she had no problem in acting school. But if you put her in academia because she did the bachelor's, how difficult was that, right? But for the acting career, somebody who is a musical talent and an actor, they don't need a bachelor's. That's my opinion, my humble opinion. Right?
Yeah, I defer here.
the money as well.
Yeah.
I mean, the budget it takes.
I'm looking at 150,000 for 4 years.
I'll tell you. I'll say something about the filmmakers as well, because it's the same thing. To do a master's, it might cost from 60 to 100 and something thousand in the UK, in the US, in the good schools. I say, give your kid like 20,000, and they'll do a short film, and prove their talent. Give them the opportunity to make a short film. Is more important than getting a bachelor's at this moment in time in our environment, in our industry. Become storytellers.
Yeah.
Have a piece of paper.
Yeah, I defer to, the educators here, who've got an experience in this. I don't. I mean, yeah, Yeah, I can't advise you on that. It's a tough position to be in. It's your daughter,
It's what she wants ultimately.
She sounds very talented. She sounds awesome. Congratulations. She sounds like a seriously cool kid. Yeah.
Just thinking, Mommy, I don't want you to spend $150,000, and I'm going to be super stressed out to try to get an A. And if it's on merit scholarship, then she has to get a very high grade, or they'll take the merit scholarship.
Yeah, it's stressful, man.
away.
Yeah.
So I would never want to put that stress on my child. So I just wanted to see what the industry expects out of young actors if they don't have that Columbia University, NYU drama, fine arts degree.
No one looks at the education. We only look at the audition tapes. We really don't. Like sometimes, and there's so many talented people out there, and I have such respect for actors. It's so brutal. You have to have such a hard, thick skin. But it's every director's looking for that something. You might have the most amazing performance in an audition, but you have something in your mind. So that's also very random. But as long as she hones that skill, that's what people are looking at. I don't think I've ever once looked at a CV. Because I want to see what they can actually do and if they're right for the part.
I do have one caveat to that, and I agree with that completely in terms of film and television to a certain extent. But I have a lot of friends in London and New York that would never want to go anywhere near a film set or a television set. Their heart, they don't mind that they don't earn a lot of money. They're on stage. They're part of the repertory theatre groups that are getting smaller and smaller, but they still travel all over the country. They're part of a theatrical group. 1 week they're playing King Henry V, and 1 week they're running on stage with one line, and they're a family and they're a group. And for stage work, you need to be taught skills. And musical theatre is a whole other thing. So I don't know your daughter. I don't know what she wants. I don't know what, as an actor she'd like to be or perform in. None of it is better than the other. It depends what she wants. If she wants a whole career on stage and she wants to study text, then there's no better place than drama school for her in that capacity. So it does depend on what she wants as an actor, I would say.
For the record, I'm still saying study. You definitely have to hone your skills and show that you've invested yourself into learning the skill. But yeah, it doesn't have to be a university.
Yeah, study. That's what I mean. Just study.
Yeah,
study.
She should definitely learn, but yeah.
Thank you all so much.
Anyone else? Questions? Yeah.
I'm just wondering if you always knew that from a young age that you'd be in the cinema industry, like acting, or it's something like an opportunity came along and...
I read The Secret Garden at 12. I wanted to see it in a movie. I knew that because I always loved books and literature, but I knew in that moment, I was 12 or 13, and I thought, this is what I want, the adaptation onto a screen of a great book, of a great literature book. But when I went to study at 17, there was one channel in Cyprus, only the national channel, is how old I am. 1992, there was only Rick, and everybody was just like, what do you want to do? Whereas kids right now, they don't need to explain what they want to do. Everybody knows what we're doing. But back then it was like, what? Explain. So I had parents that actually gave me the opportunity to become a filmmaker. But I couldn't even make films. I didn't have a phone. Now I tell my students, it's like, get your phone, write something, get your phone and shoot it. You don't need a professional camera. You don't need professional sound. Back then, we only had film. I had to cut moviola, film onto a moviola at UC in LA. So it was a very different time. But yeah, I knew it. I just didn't know what it meant. Back then, I didn't have the experience.
I never thought I'd be in this business ever, never. No, I became an actor at 25. Yeah, I went to a drama summer camp thing because I fancied a girl, and that's it.
That's it.
Yeah, I did. I fancied a girl, went into this thing, she was like, and they were like, oh, play this part, and everyone was really crap. I was like, wow, this is really bad. Like, I think I'm better than this. And I did it, and they went, you're really good. And I was like, right? I mean, what, And then, I was like, what the fuck, And then, and then I thought, I was in finance. I was a derivatives trader in finance, in banking. I was That's what I studied at university. I was at Edinburgh. I did a master's in business and finance. And then when I came out...
happened to the best of us.
Yeah. Yes. Totally. I've loved it. Great. Absolutely agree. Yeah. I mean, that's why I'm saying, like, there's a million roads into this. Like, there's no... If you'd have told me if you'd told me at whatever age, even like last year, what I'm doing now, I'd be like, you're crazy, So, yeah, no.
No, me always. Yeah, I think since I saw The Sound of Music when I was 6, I was like, I want to be a part of that somehow. And I didn't know, and then eventually I learned there were people who wrote these things and so always, it's just what I've always wanted. I was like an only child with my parents working in the fish and chip shop all day. So I was raised by the television. It was pretty much no other hope for me, I think, yeah.
Jana, you started off at 12. How did it happen?
I feel like I grew up saying I wanted to be so many different things at once, but then I found out that really what I wanted to do was play these characters. But yeah, I was trying to think about what I was going to say. But like I would say to my brother, maybe I want to make cakes, or maybe I want to be a tennis player, but I think because of my disability, I really fell in love with body language and observing people and understanding human connection. And because my world is so silent, I became fascinated by the idea of what relationships are and circumstances, and I just fell in love with observing, really. Yeah.
That was an amazing insight. Thank you. Any other questions? Yes.
So, I don't come from your world, but obviously the question I have is a bit off. AI, how much of a threat?
Well, that was on my list, but we don't have time.
I'm not actually here.
Do I have a minute? Do I have a minute about it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so this is one of the things that I've been doing for the last 2 years for the Directors Guild of Cyprus. As the president, we meet with other presidents and other directors' guilds and boards and whatever, because there's a huge danger. And the 2-year Hollywood strike 2 years ago was the indication, and now we're just seeing the trickle, what's it called? The aftermath, yeah. But they called it out first, and Howard Rodman was kind of our leader. He was the president of the Writers Guild of America. And we followed his steps, basically, as European guilds into this. Now, I have to say that it started in 2023 in Cannes when we did the Declaration of Filmmakers. And since then, we've been going to festivals like Venice and Berlinale and Athens, I brought them to Athens as well to inform the industry. It's very difficult. It's a very hard fight to fight because there is no legal precedent to be able to protect authors' rights to that point where we're protected. So anything that we've written is pretty much, once we put it online, it's if we send it even through WhatsApp or whatever, it's all to be used freely. So if I put romantic comedy in Cyprus and whatever, there's an archival footage, there's a library of data, you know, and Stellana stuff is in it. So if I say, you know, write a screenplay, in 3 minutes you will have a screenplay, a romantic comedy in Cyprus. You know, it's scary, but at the same time, what is comforting, because we did go to European Union and the Commission, and we do have guarding rails, but we cannot stop it. And it's obvious that we can't, and we're going to be in Cannes talking about it again with the Minister of Culture of France, but we cannot stop it. So what we can do is basically on a European level have some guarding rails that protect some sorts of things, some things, and we'll be taught. It's almost like we're going to be trained as an industry on how to protect our screenplays and whatnot. Like if you put it there, it's not safe. If you put it there, it's safe. That kind of thing. It's guarding rails. But in terms of stopping it, it's impossible and it will never happen. So for the actors is also very dangerous, because back then, two years ago, when it happened, it was when a lot of actors realized that going into a shoot, they have signed their data of their faces, their bodies, and it's being used forever, for eternity, in perpetuity. That's what the little letters in the contract say. And we had actually an incident with House of David shot in Greece, where one of our actors was called in, and because she went in for just, you know, one day, she didn't send us the contract before, but when she got on set, she read it, and she's like, Athena, I don't think this is right. So we sent it to Ronan, you know, to the legal department, and we saw that she was going to write in perpetuity all the data of her, right? So we stopped the shoot. We said we have to sign another contract, and this is just a test shoot, and if you want to use it, then you have to come back with another contract and another deal. And that happened. But, you know, so we saved the day last minute, but this has been happening in the US for a long time. They did the protests, they stopped it and said to the industry, you really can't use people like that without their consent. And this wave has come to Europe, and we're treating it now, in a sense, because we're all one planet. We're all like a few thousand of people that are dealing with the same issue. Yeah.
Just to build on that, yeah, it is inevitable, obviously, AI, and I think and I was also very scared when, you know, everything started happening, but it's inevitable, and as long as we find a way to use it as a tool and it's regulated, especially when it comes to rights for writers and actors. But I will say that on the technical side, I have to say it's pretty incredible what's happening when you want to, for example, clean up sound. You know, we had a scene where we weren't able to close roads on a certain day, and our actors were talking outside. And normally that means you then have to, in post-production, book a studio, get them to redo the lines and recapture the performance. And we sent it to our sound guy just to see. I was like, can you clean this up? Is this going to cost us a fortune now and stuff? And he sent it back, and it was perfect. Like, we'd done it in a studio. So and there are many, many other examples, even for image, for sound. I mean, it might cost certain jobs. ADR studios, if there's additional dialogue recording studios, they might be in trouble. I don't know, I hope not, because you still want to capture like a human performance and stuff. But definitely when, as a filmmaker, making an independent film, and it's not a form of shortcuts, it's just a form of quality, it's pretty incredible on the technical side what things are possible. So there's good and bad, and as long as it's regulated,
I
then
think you're right. Yeah, some like storyboard artists are out of a job right now. There are like Stellana said, there are some professions that are going to be out of a job, but some cannot be replaced. You know, the creative
It
heart.
doesn't only apply to the filmmaking, though. I mean, it applies to all the jobs.
Translations, translators are out of a job,
Yeah.
and all of that. But also, you can use it as a tool, as a writer, as a filmmaker. You can use it as a tool. And a Finnish screenwriter that we invited a couple of weeks ago at the Directors Guild, and she was doing an AI masterclass, said this, and I will be repeating this because it's a great quote. She said, you can use AI up to the point where you don't have to give it credit. Like if you use the human being, you can use it up to the point where the human being had to have a credit. That's okay, that's using it as a tool. At that point where it's writing my screenplay and I have to give it credit if it was a human being, that's not okay. So there's a good, line, I guess. The manifesto right now, as European filmmakers that we're putting out at Cannes, the issue, and that's why we have the Minister of Culture of France next to us, is that cinema should be a product of culture, a cultural product. And a lot of governments who are trying to put it under Ministry of Digital, technology? Ministry of...
Oh, yeah.
What are they called in English? That's what they did in England. So Europe right now, that's what they're trying to do.
If you've ever been on a film set and you've seen an actor or anyone give 6 or 7 different versions of a take, I've never seen a computer do that. Right? So you can have an AI scene and it'll be shit. Just will. If you've ever edited a film, yeah, for now, but I mean, for now I'm here, tomorrow I might be dead. The truth of the matter is there's a lot of scaremongering about any technology. Yes, it's going to, steamroll ahead, but performance in a human element and watching someone actually deliver something that's meaningful and that resonates with you, I mean, when the computers can do that, we're going to have way bigger problems than whether or not this business is around. Nobody is you. I really believe that. No one on earth is you. And there is no correct way to do anything. There are things that you can learn to make your choices for what you decide to do better, inform your choices, but whatever choices that you make for that, as long as they are informed and practiced, rehearsed, and you get to a point of confidence in those decisions to perform in the way that you want to, and that you walk out of there feeling that you've done what you believe to be the best version of that in your studied way, will be memorable to the people watching. Beyond that, whether or not you're correct or right for the part or whatever it is so subjective, so out of your control, that there is no way to win the job. There's a way to walk out of that room feeling that you've gone in there and had a chance to do what you love. And that's how I feel about it. I hope that helps.
Bravo.
And Chiara was a background actor on my last film, so she's already well on her way.
Hey, well done.
Can I get some tips?
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for sharing your experiences and your ideas. And I wish you all the best